What's good with Fat Gang? It's your girl Mikki checking in, guys. And today, we are kicking off our season 5 of Boss Chat in the Den, guys. Y'all know how we do here. We are celebrating business owners. We wear a lot of different hats, and it is time that we really just collaborated with each other and really build together because all of us need to network and build to grow. So, without further ado, I'm super excited because we have Mr. Twiz Taylor in the den today. And I'm going to hand it right over to him so he can tell you all about all the wonderful things that he has going on.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Mikki, for having me in the den. I'm excited to be here. The IG live we did was great. It was dope. Very good conversation. So definitely happy to build off of that. So I am a professional photographer. I've been doing that. So I'm a media proprietor. That's what I call myself because everything I do dabbles in media. So professional photography, I've been doing that for 12 years now. I started that in 2011. I do a lot of photo shoots, headshots, family sessions, things like that. I still do events from time to time as well. Recently, I just really got into doing sports. I really enjoy sports. This is my first school year athletic season doing sports, and I really, really enjoy it. So that's becoming like a hobby of mine. I've been getting paid for it too, but it's like something I could see myself doing as like, just to keep renewing my creativity in the photography realm.
Right.
So that's one avenue. Then I'm also a podcaster just like yourself. Been doing that since 2016. And I have two, the Mogul Motivation Podcast, which is all about entrepreneurship, self-development, inspiration, keeping people focused on their dreams. And then my second one is Sociology, which is about Chicago culture. The slogan is from Harold Washington to Harold's Chicken and everything in between and beyond. Because that's basically what the podcast covers. It's all Chicago. So those are my two podcasts. And then also I'm an author. So I wrote 2 books, Board Games 1 and 2, that was published 2018, 2021 respectively. And I'm currently working on my 3rd book, which is not going to be in that series. It's a completely new series. It's titled Journeè. So hopefully I will have that out in June. We'll see. We'll see though. I'm not going to rush it or press it.
No, I feel you on that. And you have to take your time with those projects because you want them to be of certain caliber. They got to be right. And that's one thing I learned because I was like, no, I had this deadline in my head. I got to make it. And it was like, okay, but it's not how you want it.
Exactly. Yeah. Deadlines is like unnecessary pressure,
Yeah.
Unnecessary
that is
pressure.
A great way to look at that.
Yeah. Unnecessary pressure.
Yeah. And so I didn't even know you had kind of started dabbling into the sports sector for like your photography. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
That you are now in that arena.
Yeah, and it's fun, man. Like I just started doing it. So I started doing football season in September
Okay.
2022. I started doing football season. I just started taking pictures of some of the games out here on the south side for some of the teams, Morgan Park, Simeon, things like that. Because I know a lot of people that's on both coaching staffs and that work at those schools. So it's kind of like my way in.
Yeah.
And once I started doing it, I'm like, damn, this is fun. I should have been doing this. And then now we're into basketball season, and I really enjoy shooting basketball. I enjoy shooting girls basketball more, simply because just from my experience so far, the girls show more passion. It's no shade to the boys, but the boys are always stoic and just what I'm saying. But the girls, they tend to be more passionate, and they show a lot of enthusiasm while they actually out there on the court. Just so far from my experience. So I do like shooting girls, and I plan on doing track. Track is my favorite sport. It was the best sport I participated in high school. I plan on doing that this spring with some baseball. So yeah, really love sports photography.
So I love that. And I do like the fact that you have ventured into the girls basketball because we see a lot of men's basketball is not publicized a lot for the girls, but they out there, they doing their thing.
They doing their thing. And like a friend of mine said, when it comes to girls basketball, you have to be skilled to see. Like, guys can solely rely on athleticism a lot of times, and they don't have to be skilled. But with girls, you have to be skilled to dominate. And these girls, they got game. They got handles. They can shoot. Yeah, they cold. They cold.
Okay. So I know I love that. So I'm gonna have to pay a little more attention because I was like, I haven't been seeing that. So I had to make sure I get my blinders off so I can see some of your photography because I love looking at the things that you post. I'm like, oh, that was dope. I like that angle. That was crazy how he took that from that spot. So I love that. I do sort of what stock your work. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah. But no, so you always talk about, like you said, having that passion for what you're doing, finding that motivation. So I mean, just like you, I went to college and I did not go, I'm not doing nothing that I went to college for. I went to college for law enforcement. I'm nowhere near in that arena right now.
Yeah.
So how was that for you? Like really, you in college, this was the plan. You were supposed to do this and then completely got out and was like, no, I'm going this way. How was that for you in building those relationships?
Man, it really took a lot of trial and error. And I actually told someone this, like, it really took me not almost, it definitely took me over 10 years to figure it out because I always knew I was a creative person. That's where my strong set was, my strength. I not saying I'm not intelligent, I'm very intelligent. I'm extremely intelligent, but it's just certain things that either bored me or I just didn't care to learn. Math, science, things like that. I don't care about stuff like that. I don't care about systems and things like that as much as I should have. But creativity always had a hold on me. So yeah, like I went to college for broadcasting, and in a way, I am doing that. But I ventured off to a more non-traditional route. I applied to go to film school after I graduated from Western, and I didn't get in, so I kind of had to pivot and like figure things out on my own. And that's why I started my own business. And pretty soon, the plan wasn't to be a photographer, but people kept asking me, "Do I take pictures?" And I'm like, "Well, I guess I do now because everybody keep asking me." So that's how I fell into the photography world. And the deeper I dove into it, to answer your question, like I just formed more and more relationships, repeat clients and people that opened doors for me. And like, I just really didn't understand the magnitude of it until like within the past couple years, the COVID years, the value of those relationships, because without relationships, you ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I truly believe that. Like you could be talented, creative, skilled, but you need to know somebody if you really want to advance in your career. And I really cherish those relationships now. Like a lot of the work, I barely like I post my work, but I don't really market or advertise it because everything I get comes from word of mouth. And word of mouth only happens when you do good work and you treat people well and you build those relationships.
Right.
So yeah, it took me over 10 years to finally figure that out because the things that I'm experiencing now in my life, business-wise, entrepreneurial-wise, I could see the engine really getting revved up and I'm starting to get that momentum. And this is momentum I could have had 10 years ago, but I just didn't understand these things yet. So
right. And you're always taught you get on this path and you go down this path and it's only you. So you got to make it work. No one else is going to help you. But then, like you said, you realize along the way, no, there are people who can help. I just have to find the people who are aligned with me and who can really add value to what I'm trying to create. And not getting that empty knowledge from people who may just be scared, who may not understand what you're talking about, because me, I wanted to do YouTube. Mom was like, girl, you want everybody to know your business? Like, and like you said, it was even that's my mom, but she didn't understand what I was trying to do. And it's you're only going to know what I want you to know, what I'm putting out there.
Yeah,
I'm
and most people,
this 20-minute clip of a 24-hour span,
and not to cut you off, but yeah, most people aren't going to understand. A lot of those early years, I didn't have a lot of support from the people I felt I should have had support from. Family members, quote unquote friends. They wasn't really supporting me the way I thought they would have or should have, and it's because either they didn't care or they just didn't know, and a lot of them just didn't know. And to your point, I have a similar story about YouTube. Like my YouTube page, I just started utilizing it in 2022, but I set it up in 2014. So that's 8 years that took me to really just start utilizing it. And I feel like it was just really that lack of confidence because I didn't have the support from the people I thought I should have had the support from. And, just the belief that people wasn't gonna really buy into the content that I was gonna create and put out there.
Yep.
You know, because everything I do now, I had the ideas back then. It just took me forever to really just say, you know what, F it, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and I don't care what nobody say. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna persevere, and I'm gonna uplift others while I do it. You know, so yeah, I definitely feel you on that when it comes
Man,
to
I'm telling you, and I love that because, like you said, you have to have that mentality where it's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Because
absolutely.
if you keep thinking, okay, I got 1,000 some people that I'm friends with, I like they post all the time, they gonna subscribe. It don't cost nothing. It's 20 seconds, and you like, I'm gonna get monetized, and it's like when it's like, no, it don't work like that. You
No,
have to do it because it's what you want to do, because you have a passion to do it, and then you're gonna build your following along the way. But
yeah,
you got to step out there first. You have to
got
do
to.
it. You got to do it
Got to.
first.
You know what I'm saying? It's a market for everybody on YouTube. Like if people on YouTube doing all types of stuff, what you scared of? Like anybody, just be you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like we think too much. We think too
we
much.
do. We do. We always have to try to know the outcome before it happens.
Yeah.
Before we even start, we want to know how it's going to end.
Mm-hmm. Real
And
talk.
it's like you can't know that. It's like I kind of think of it like a movie. You don't want to know the end of the movie before you watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's one of those things. But I really I had to step out there and just do me. And some people are like, well, you too silly, or you act serious sometimes. I'm like, well, that's just me. Sometimes I want to be silly, sometimes I want to be serious, sometimes I don't give a fuck. And people was like, oh, she say stuff like that. Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really, like you said, it's understanding who you are and knowing what you want to do. And once you know those two things, you're the only person that can hold you back from that point.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, real talk. Real talk.
Yeah. And so, well, all the things that you have going on, like, what made you say, I'm going to do this podcast? Because, baby, motivating yourself is hard enough, right? So, how do you take it further and say, I'm going to create this podcast that's going to motivate others? I got enough in me I can give to some other people.
Man, honestly, every week I got to get back to myself. So it's like I be talking to myself every week, honestly. Like I'm just be real. So that's really like how it started. Like it so let me just back up a little bit. The inception of the idea itself started in college when I sent out motivational texts
Mhm.
because I was going through my own depression and all of that. And it would make me feel good when I made others feel good too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh man, like I just made somebody's day, and now I feel a little better about my day. Even though I'm going through my own issues, I feel a little better. So that started in college with the text messages, and then again that confidence thing. I just kind of abandoned the idea for some years. And 2016 was another dark point in my life, my entrepreneurial journey. And one day I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start recording something. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna do this podcast. So I just set up my camera and I just recorded with the microphone on my camera. And the message was win versus if, but the message was really for myself.
Mhm.
I needed to. I recorded it so I could play it back and listen to it myself. And then I uploaded it on SoundCloud. And then I just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this every week. And every week since January 2016 up until now and continuing on, I've been doing the episodes. So to answer your question, it's like every week I'm pouring into myself,
Mhm.
I pouring into others. So it's kind of like, just a whole,
Yeah.
cycle, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of weeks when I record, some days I don't even be feeling like it. But
Mhm.
I know I built up that following at this point where people are hoping that
Mhm.
they can get some type of inspiration or motivation from me or something. So I feel like it's a duty to others, but it's
Mhm.
also a duty to myself too. Like you said, it's hard work motivating yourself. So it's like if I don't speak for nobody else, I got to speak for myself first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm putting it out there so everybody else can share with it too. So I hope that answers your question in
No,
regards
it
to.
does. It does. Because when I first started doing, like I said, my self-care tips, those were strictly for me. I
Mm,
got so caught up being a wife, being a mom, and anything my family needed, they came to me. I did it, no questions asked, no matter how tired I was.
yeah.
But it got to a point where I was like, okay, who the hell am I? I don't. who am I looking at when I look in the mirror? You
Yeah.
know? And it
Yeah.
all started because you know how it is when you got a couple extra dollars, you're like, oh, I'm gonna do something nice for myself. I found something to do for my husband, found something to do for my kids, couldn't freaking figure out what I wanted for myself.
Mm. Yeah.
And I ended up just holding the money. Cause I was like,
Mm.
I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want to do. And my husband was like, what? I was like, I have no clue what I want to do or what I want. And I knew at that point, yeah, you done lost yourself. You done lost a lot of pieces along the way. And
Mm.
so those self-care tip videos, that's me finding who I am again, you
Yeah. Yeah.
know. And I had one person tell me, I'm so happy I found these videos. You don't understand. You just stopped me from doing something crazy.
See, that's real. That's real. That's why you got to do it because you
And I'm
don't
sitting
know
here like,
who listening and who watching. Yep.
and like you said, it don't matter how tired I am, how much I don't want to do. I'm gonna do something. It may
Mhm.
not be my 6 or 7 normal minute one. It may only be 1 or 2, but I
Yep.
have to do something,
Something.
something.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, it's so many people ask me like, "How do you do it, baby?" I'm learning every day,
We all are
every day.
constantly.
And people always say, "Oh my God, you do so much thing with your kids. You're such a great mom." I'm learning every day. Some days I be like, "What the heck am I doing? Why was I blessed with 3 kids? I don't know what I'm doing." you know,
Uh,
it's no
that's real. That's real though. Every day
for
we
real.
learn. You know what I'm saying? Every day, none of us have it all figured out. And it's like the more you know, the less you know, because it's still gonna be so much more to learn. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like you got 3 kids, I have none. I know nothing about parenthood, but you know, it's somebody out there that had 5 kids and like all their kids are through college and all that. It's some things
Mhm.
you can learn from them. So it's like, you know, there's always gonna be more to learn in every avenue of life. And I think that's what there's a lot of things I don't like about social media now, but I think that's one thing that really grinds my gears is you look on social media and people get these illusions that they got it all figured out,
Mhm.
and no one has it all figured out. You
No.
know what I'm saying? No one has it all figured out, especially if you're black. You know,
Mhm.
we all out here learning and trying to figure it out. We all out here. Well, a lot of us are first generation college graduates or college students or you know business owners, homeowners. We all figuring it out.
We
You
all
know?
are. And like you said, there's no one to necessarily go back to for those answers.
Yeah.
You
No
know,
one. We
and
are the ones.
and we learning as we go. And I always feel like the goal is always to have your kids do better than you, right? Or
Yes.
have the next generation be a little bit better. So
Yeah.
for me, you know how many times I done tripped and fail, how many potholes I done stepped in. It's like if I can do something to prevent someone else from doing that same thing, not even for any accolades back, just to not see them fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because not all the times the person in front of you gonna reach back and pick you back up and help you up.
That's real talk. That's real talk. Yeah.
And how many times as a person do you fall and you this close to just that's it, I'm done. Like and
Man,
it'd be like, seriously, who's gonna help me get out of this?
I have moments like that so many times. Like, you know, and you know, like you said, it's always about the next generation. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like one thing that keeps me going, well, not one thing, the biggest thing that keeps me going is I don't have any children yet. So I don't have that next generation that I'm like, I gotta do this for. But
Mm-hmm.
at the present moment, it's like, it's my childhood self I gotta do this for. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Because we all were kids at one point, and you know, the older we get, you know, our dreams, our creativity gets eroded because of you know the grime of life. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think we all, no matter what we do, we all have a duty. Even you know, you have a duty, despite having a husband, 3 kids, you have a duty to your childhood self to succeed and you know see
Mm-hmm.
it through to the
Yeah.
finish line. And that's what I tell myself. So like when I get to that point where it's like, you know what, I'm almost done with it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think about my childhood self because my childhood self had the blueprint. You know, again, everything I'm doing isn't necessarily like new. I always wanted to do what I'm doing. I just didn't know how I was going to do it, like in what
Right.
way, what medium. And I owe it to that little boy that had these dreams to make it a reality. You know, he imagined it, and I got to make it a reality. And on top of that, as I continue to make this reality, and when it becomes one and comes to fruition, now when I do have children, they will come into this world, you know, with that dream already realized or pretty much realized. Not saying everything's going to be easy. Life is never 100% easy, but I don't want them to go through what that childhood self of myself had to go through.
Right.
And so it's kind of like that's how I think, and you know, that's what keeps me motivated through it all. Yeah. And it's like, you know, I'm almost at my breaking point, but I ain't gonna break because I can't afford it. Because everybody else let my childhood self down. I can't let them down too. You know what I'm saying? Then I can't let my future children down when they get here. You know, I can't let, you know, my spouse, my girlfriend down. I can't let, you know, my mother down, you know, even though we might have our issues and families and all that, still gotta do this for those who couldn't do it for themselves. And for people who we're not even related to. You know, it might, like you said, your podcast bless somebody and stop them from doing something drastic. So it matters. You know, people are watching us, and it's like sometimes we are carrying the cross so somebody else don't have to carry it.
Exactly.
And that don't necessarily mean it has to be children, family members. It could literally be another Black woman, another Black boy that needed to see that and hear that, and like, damn, I can do it too.
Yeah. And even just the I'm not alone.
Yep.
I said, we often get in those dark spaces, and our mind instantly makes it like we're the only person who ever went through that. There's no one else in the world going through what we're going through. It's just you. And it's like sometimes even just knowing, dang, that's my situation.
That's real.
Even if you don't know the outcome and how they got out of it, just knowing you were not alone in that moment.
Yep.
You know, and like you said, our childhood selves deserve a round of applause, because I'm pretty sure, just like me, you had some things you had to really overcome. And you looking back today, like, I don't know how the hell I did that, but I did, you know? And it's just crazy. But like you said, we owe it to ourselves, because I know I've been let down a lot. And it's like you said, you have those dreams as a kid. How many times are we told, write down what you want to be when you get older? Write down your plan, you know? But you write out the plan. As a kid, you just write down, I want to be, for me, excuse me, for me, I want to be a juvenile defense attorney. That's what I want to do. Then I got a little older, and it was like, no, I want to be a criminal defense attorney. I want to represent all of them. Then I thought about it. I was like, okay, first of all, that's going to be a lot of my family members. And they ain't going to want to pay. So then I ain't going to get no money, you know? All the people in my hood going to want the discount. And you really start thinking about stuff. And you're like, okay, then I got pregnant. Well, I want to be home sometime with my baby. I don't want to be at work all the time. And things change. Things change. So then it's like, okay, you have to go back, like you said, to that child and say, what was your next idea? What else did you have in mind? You know, what was the end goal? Because like you said, you owe it to see that through, even if you got to change it up a little bit. You know what I mean? And I feel like if we carry what you said, you owe it to yourself, your childhood self. If we carry that as an adult and we own that, that's less likely of a chance for someone like me who can try to put that through on my kids. Take their dream to give them yours.
Yeah.
Because how often does that happen?
A lot.
And it could be just like you said, that person grew up and didn't take accountability for their childhood self, for the cause. Yeah. And I just thought about that since you said that. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's real, man.
It is.
Yeah.
Whew. Like we done went down the whole little road.
Yeah. We got deep real quick. But it's real though, man. It's like that's what we all have to continue to remind ourselves that, you know what I'm saying? Because like, again, just going off the example you said, you know, married, 3 children, you know, I think a lot of people, men and women, it's not just women, a lot of people, you know, when the older they get into their family lives, they forget who they are. You know, they forget who they used to be. You know, they forget what their childhood self wanted out of life, and you know, all of those things. And you matter too, just as much as, you know, your spouse and your children. And not saying one comes before the other. They all are like just equal parts to the same body, you know. And a lot of people forget that, and more so in situations like that. Definitely single adults, obviously, definitely forget themselves, but I guess it's more harder. And I'm just speaking off my experience of what I see with friends and things. A lot of people have said similar things, like they just forgot what they like to do and what they want to do. And just got to get back to what your childhood self wanted out of life.
Right.
Because we owe that person.
We do. And even I like how, even though, we started talking about our businesses, but it's still, like you said, you have to address the person as a whole. Because although I have this business and I'm providing these services and I'm helping someone in this way, I'm still human.
Yeah. Yep.
I still have all these things that I deal with on a daily basis. What I'm showing you is a piece of my day. It's a piece of what my journey. It's not the entire process.
Yes.
And that's something when I first picked up a camera, you don't think about that when you first pick up a camera. It's the just turn it on, just hit record. But have you ever had a topic in mind and once you hit record, it's something completely changed and you like, well, dang, okay.
That's the spirit, man. That's the Holy Spirit just steering you to where you need to be.
Yeah. Yep. And sometimes those videos, I actually go back and I watch like over and over again because it's something in them. It's such a strong lesson for yourself. And I'm like, oh man, I didn't even know I needed to hear that. And tell me it don't like change your whole day. Like your mood is different, your bounce. You like, okay, I can do this.
Look, man, I got, again, like that's why like with Mogul Motivation, it's the premise of it is to talk to myself first and foremost. And I got so many episodes. I had listened to an episode a couple of weeks ago that I forgot I even did.
Yeah.
Damn. Like, I needed that. Like, that was right on time. Like, thank you, former Twiz. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we all different variations of ourselves, man. Like, that's one thing I think about. It's like sometimes not only is it your childhood self, but sometimes it's like your 33-year-old self that might need to, pour into you. Sometimes it might be like your 25-year-old self, that's reminding you of something. We doing this right now for our 50-year-old self. So our 50-year-old self can be, in a much comfortable position than what our 34, 33-year-old selves are in. So it's like all these different versions of ourselves owe it to each other to make life whole and a life at ease. I think that's the soft life. We all have to work together to create that soft lives for that one spirit. But that one spirit is broken up into multiple different versions. Each year we grow.
That's true.
Should, at least. So if you the same person as you are 34 years old as you was 21 years old, that's a waste.
Yeah, you'd miss some turns up in there somewhere.
You miss some lessons. The 21-year-old me is totally different from 34-year-old me.
Exactly.
Two totally different people, same spirit, but two totally different people. Yeah. And what I'm doing right now is I'm looking at 21-year-old me's mistakes, but I'm also still building off of his dreams and what he wanted. And 21-year-old me was still serving childhood me. So yeah, that's just how I look at stuff. Yeah.
But it is like that because sometimes, like me, I can go from super, like I'm in my adult mode right now. I'm super serious, I'm focused. But then I can go and I'm like watching kids' movies and my kids ain't nowhere around. But to me, some people might say, oh, that's weird. No, because sometimes you may need a childhood version of yourself to come in and let you know that something is still possible. Because your adult self then got so caught up in all life that's going on, and you may be not even knowing it, but dimming your own light or saying something that's not possible for you to achieve. So you might have to go back to that childhood self. So maybe me watching that movie did that for me. I don't know. But I'm going to embrace all of it because it's a lesson in all of it. And you have to be able to stop and catch those lessons.
Yep. Got to. Because if you miss them, I mean, they'll come back, but they'll come back harder. And it's going to be a harder lesson to learn. And it's some things that I'd rather not learn the hard way.
Okay.
Just believe that, Just believe.
Yes, life is hard enough. You don't have to make it harder on yourself.
Yeah. Personal life, business life, all of that. It's certain things I only had to learn it once. And I'm like, all right, good. I hear you. You know,
Yes, for real.
yeah.
Oh my God. So this has been so amazing, everybody. And like it's just like me and Twiz went to school together, but when I tell you just watching him grow from the Twiz I knew and we was, sitting here in poetry and everything like that. It's so different. It's so much more evolved. Back when we was in college, baggy tees all day long and all this stuff, crazy hairstyles, you know how we did in Western, but
Mm-hmm.
just being able to honestly watch you and go through this transformation. It's been real crazy. And although we don't like talk on a daily or nothing like that, just know I'm telling you, we watch, we tune in, and we just, you had those conversations like, damn, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that he's prospering. You know what I mean? And like you said, we listen to sociology because we from the city, and we be like,
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
I can pin back on different episodes and I can say like where I was and how it changed my day because it's that home, it's that comfort.
Mhm.
Y'all was
Mhm.
talking about Italian beef on one of them, and I was like, baby,
Yeah, I just had one yesterday.
no.
Yeah, yes.
And for someone like us who we're not in our hometown right now, it brings that to us. And it's just a spirit that you honestly bring through your podcast. And I think it's dope. It feels so genuine. So I thank you for that. Because it's
Thank you. Thank you. I definitely appreciate the support from you and Stu. Like real talk. Like, y'all been definitely been rocking with me since day one. And I don't take it for granted. Like I always take mental notes of who definitely has been, engaged with my content from the very beginning. I don't take it for granted. So thank you. Real
no,
talk.
you're very welcome, trust me. So first of all, we're definitely gonna have to have you back because I feel like we can go so much further because this was just dope. Uh,
Yeah.
But before we head out, can you let everyone know where they can find you, your books, where they can purchase your books from? Because we have them already, but y'all need to know where to get them.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Board games 1 and 2 can be found on Amazon. You can find both of my podcasts, Mobile Motivation and Sociology, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube. The links for everything I just said, including the books, is on my link tree, which is on my Instagram page, Twiz Taylor, Twiz Taylor. That's my Instagram page. And then as well as my photography website as well, True Photo. So if you're in Chicago, I do travel. So I can come to Vegas, Arizona, wherever you need me to come to. Primarily based in Chicago though, because that's where I'm at, True Photo. So everything is on my link tree on my Instagram page, Twiz Taylor.
And I'm telling you guys, make sure you link in, lock in with Twiz. He is amazing. He covers a lot of different ideologies. Actually, he has his, like he said, he has his podcast, he has his photos, and his photos are amazing. I'm telling y'all, I'll be on his Facebook when he make his little posts because he always do something that is so life related. Even if when you're doing like you're looking out the window series, I'd be like,
Yeah,
okay,
people love that. People love that. I got to do something with that. People love that.
I'm telling you, it's one of those things like you don't understand. Like it catches people whether they're going through. Sometimes you just need a laugh. Sometimes you just need that mental break. And the content that you post, to be honest, just all the way 100, it gives that. You
Thank
can read a post and you be like, this motherfucker crazy, but then
you.
it's but then it's like, nah, that's for real. I feel them on that. And I love it. That's why I feel like you get, the engagement that you do because it gives people that mental break. It gives them that relatability. You actually are available. Some people, they get 2 books, they get some podcasts, they be like, catch me when you can.
Yeah, same OG, man. I ain't never changed her. Same OG for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love that because like I told you, Stuart was like, reach out to Twiz. I was like, I don't know if Twiz gonna reply. You see how busy Twiz be?
And nah, anytime, like, I don't, because I do the same thing you do, and I know what it feels like for people to, not have time, not make time, things like that. I don't want to be that type of person. I definitely make time. Obviously we'll have to figure out the schedule because we all got lives. You got
Right.
3 kids. I got what I'm got going on. But once we figure out a date and a time, I'm always gonna be locked in, regardless of who it is, because I know what it feels like for people to not respond to me at all,
Yeah.
or I be reaching out, they just leaving me on red. Like, okay, like I could take a no. Like I could tell you,
Okay.
I could take you're not interested, I'm a grown ass man. But leaving me on red, I don't like that disrespect.
Man, I be ready to go see somebody. Like, dude, like you said, just say no. Just say not interested. No, maybe later. Like,
yeah,
come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Just leave it on delivery then. Don't even open it if that's the case.
Yeah.
But yes. So guys, we will definitely get Twiz back in the building. But make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. Share this out to anyone you feel could use this information. And until next time, guys, we will catch you later here in the den. Peace.
In the den.